This cheese is a gateway drug? Hello, cheese people. My name is Raven. This is Cheese Review. Welcome. Before we get into anything, it's important we go to mug time. This is my mug. It has lots of vintage Disney posters on it, so it's one of my favorites. Got it in Disney World with the fam. And the inside also matches my shirt, so of course, it's perfect. So, today's cheese. Very special. It's Midnight Moon. First off, goat's milk Gouda. Wax rind, which is typical of most Goudas. It is a pasteurized goat's milk cheese. It has microbial rennet, so therefore vegetarian. We'll get into that later. And it is aged about 6 to 8 months. It's from Cypress Grove Creamery in California. Now for the most fun part of this job, it's gonna be cutting open the cheese. So let's get into this bad boy. Don't wanna crack my mug. So we have our handy dandy, trusty cheese rocker. I could not do my job without it. Time for my workout. All right, so let's get into tasting this. First off, I have my cheese plane. So this is from Bosca, love this brand. And basically what this does is takes a very, very fine, thin layer of cheese, and which allows you to taste it at its prime. So it's spreading across your tongue and you're getting all of the flavors. So let's get into tasting this, and I will give you my honest review. I love Midnight Moon. It is truly one of my favorites. There's nothing not to like about this cheese. Creamy, spreads across your tongue and coats the inside of your mouth. That's what we'd call a creamy mouthfeel, even though it's more of a firm to a semi-firm cheese. Texturally, it's dense. It has a subtle graininess, which is the crystallized proteins that you're gonna get through the aging process of a cheese, typically of an aged Gouda as well. It has a nice nuttiness and a sweet note kind of at the crescendo on the end. I feel like this could pair really nicely sweet or salty because you're getting both of those flavors within the cheese. Yeah, one of my favorites. Love Midnight Moon. So I would say pairing wise, actually on the Cypress Grove website, they have listed out their recommendations for pairing. And I would say mostly I agree. Sorry, Cypress Grove, I don't always agree. So for this one, for beer pairing, they were saying stout, Belgian, something kind of dark beer, nice and yeasty. And then for wines, they had suggested ice wine, cherry wine, Zinfandel. That's where I might have to disagree. Personally, I think because the cheese is already sweet, adding a sweeter wine on top of it is going to compete with those flavors. So I would say a nice dry white actually, I think would be perfect. Sauvignon Blanc, Touraine, something crisp, delicious, and that will highlight the flavor of the cheese. If we're talking food-wise pairing, I think this with some nice salty Marcona almonds and some fig jam, maybe even a little bit of serrano would be perfect. Let's talk about vegetarian rennet. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Raven, isn't all cheese vegetarian? No, it's not. Come here, listen to me. So, not all cheeses are vegetarian. Why, you might be asking? Because of the rennet that is used inside the cheese. Now, typically and traditionally, the rennet that is used is an enzyme from the stomach of an animal, typically a cow, and that basically separates the curds and whey when it is added to the milk, making cheese. For vegetarian cheeses, they use a microbial rennet, so that is from a vegetarian, you see what I'm trying to say. It's a vegetarian cheese, so you don't need to stress. Midnight Moon, the gateway goat. Why do I call it that? Well, because this is goat's milk cheese, but you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you. Why? Because it doesn't have that very typical, distinct, tangy, goaty flavor that like a fresh chev would have. It's not got that hoofy, barnyardy flavor. It's subtle, it's sweet, and it's nice and creamy. This is going to be your gateway to a whole world of goat's milk cheese. Any cheese can be made from goat's milk, which maybe you didn't know. Maybe you think of it as just chev, as just soft, but you can have a Gouda that is also goat. This cheese has been winning awards, specifically Gold Standard Awards, from 2002 onwards, most recently at the International Cheese and Dairy Awards last year in 2022. So if you don't believe me, believe that. It's an amazing cheese. Lastly, don't be scared of goat. Stop it, oh my God. If you're scared of goat, go out there and eat something goat today. Midnight Moon, for one, is a perfect gateway goat. Okay, I love you, bye!